The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Monday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN just after 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We got about 24 minutes to go until the start of trading. We're picking up right where we left off. Higher prices across the board. The U.S. and China, tensions easing. We got a big week of earnings. We got a Fed decision on Wednesday. You're talking about Apple, Microsoft, Meta, Google, Amazon, all those earnings coming out this week. We have Meta and Google on Tuesday, Apple and Amazon on Thursday, Federal Reserve meeting on Wednesday, and we have markets. You talk about a run, 68.90, right on the open at 6 o'clock, and we've been pushing that price level. S&P's up by about 58 points right now, or 0.9%, trading at 68.84. NASDAQ 100. We might see 26,000 today, 25,852. You see the run well above the highs that we had. When was that? Earlier this month. And yeah, you're gapping higher. NASDAQ 100 up by 1.3% right now. Dow up by 0.5%. 47,775 was the high at 6 o'clock last night. We're up by 252 points right now at 47,650. And the Russell up by more than a percentage at 2549. Positive by 26 points. Bitcoin, how about that run? Up by $4,580 over the weekend, 115,320. Ethereum, you're up by almost 6% to 41.66, up $232. Crude, continuing to push higher. We're up by 29 pennies. Crude, 61.79. We jump to yields. So on an important Fed week, we have yields right now with the 10-year at 4.02. Okay, the yield 4.02. We've backed off a bit from some of the higher price, lower yield. You're approaching 3.93, 3.95. You jump over to the dollar right now. Dollar backing off but holding up relatively well at 98.83. And gold continues to pull back. Gold off by 2%, off $83. You see the open last night, 6 o'clock. You spiked down a bit, and we just made pre-market lows at about 7:30 this morning. Gold off by 2%, off $83, 4,055. Silver off 2.4%, 47.55. Now you jump around to some of the gold equities, folks. All right, you got AEM. You got a bid ask of 157 to 159 right now. Okay, we still have some room on the downside on some of these, and this was just jumping around to some of the equities. No in particular. Okay, but First Majestic, you're going to be down 3 or 4% on the open from 1284 to 1230 on some of these equities. Jump over the XAU in terms of the pullback we had last week. Most of that taking place on Tuesday of last week. That pullback, we chop around the XAU. We'll see how we react. HUI, similar pullback, right? Quite the pullback. You put these on a weekly, well off the highs, and you do it with some volume. We jump over the gold contract. Okay, you take a look at the weekly. Didn't quite get there, but pretty close. Almost as close as you can get on a weekly basis, but you didn't take it out with volume. You miss it by about 50,000 contracts on the futures. You trade higher on 1.92. The week of October 13th, you pull back on 1.87. Now we're picking things up in negative territory to begin today. Jump over to the GLD. And same volume setup there. 153 on the pullback. 153 on the acceleration higher, and you pull back on a little bit less volume. But boy, it was a big volume pullback. And you take a look at the daily. Where does all that volume come from? It comes from the red days, folks. Okay, this market run out a little steam. You jump over to gold, and I say that as in, the daily numbers. Look at the pronounced selling. Okay, you're getting selling on the way down, and you bounce on lighter volume. And boy, how's that for we make the high on a day where you do 329,000 contracts, sandwiched between a day where you do 524 and 558. Not exactly how you want to make a peak high. Okay, you make it as you pull back in volume, and then the volume comes back in, and everyone's selling. 2 days in a row. And we're now breaking below those levels. October 22nd, the low was 4,021. Okay? We just hit 4,028. We're at 4,056. You got some volatility when we're trading over 4,000 in this market. We sure do. All right, we jump to the headlines. So the latest U.S.-China trade truce leaves fundamental issues unresolved. Well, not surprising. There's no quick resolution to everything going on in this debate, folks. Whether you're talking about rare earths, okay, whether you're talking about soybeans in focus and Farmer Treasury Secretary Besant, yeah, nonetheless, tensions ease. Okay, they're going to push back our threats. Trump told reporters this morning he feels good. Easing trade tensions. That'll likely see China resume soy purchases. And we walk back the 100% tariff threat in exchange for critical rare earth magnets. See where we go from there. All right, and speaking of rare earths, so it's interesting when you look at, let me pull this right here. Oh, here we go. Okay. So here's the first article from the Journal talking about rare earths, okay? U.S. and private financiers pour money into critical minerals, believing China won't ever be a reliable supplier again. America's hottest new investment, rare earth companies. Well, okay. That's from the Journal. Where was this published? Because it says it was updated this morning. But when did this one? I was reading this one this morning. But then the kicker is rare earth stocks tumble as the U.S. expects China to delay those export controls. Okay? And we talked about this one last week. USA Rare Earth. Looks funny. I mean, that one is just always. And it's a SPAC, of course. USAR. They're all going to be a little bit lower today. Yeah, there's your spike lower on that news. You're at $21.50. Are we going back to $10? Boy, that's some selling off the top. USA Rare Earth. Down more than 50% from where you were trading in October, as in this month, October 13th. And boy, the selling's not going to stop today, folks. You got selling all the way down. We got a bid on October 20th. But yeah, several of those companies trading lower. Washington and Beijing expected to reach a deal to avoid those tariffs. So critical minerals ease. It's going to take some time for this one to play out, folks, and the run's been stratospheric so far. All right, we'll come back. We'll talk some Magnificent Seven. We got a big week of earnings. We'll jump around, folks. We'll take a look. You get the NASDAQ 100 right now, up 1.3% all-time highs. We'll come right back.
For potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger Zen. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger Zen, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. Markets higher across the board. NASDAQ 100, up by 1.25%. We take a look at some of the volume. Now, you back it up to where we were last Wednesday. You accelerate lower, 684,000 contracts. You got to watch the volume because we creep higher on Thursday, 522. Creep higher on Friday on 460. We'll see if we get follow through with a little bit of China and U.S. trade. Tension easing. The market. Take a look at the weekly, okay, accelerating to highs on lighter volume. So keep an eye on that volume. We're going to have to see more than that as we go forward. All right, we talk about earnings. So we get some big earnings, man. This week, the biggest of them all. You jump over to Meta. So we got Meta and Google on Tuesday. Let's take a look at this volume. Pull up the weekly on Meta. You pull back to the April lows right near 500. We're pushing 738. You make a high of 796 out here in August. We're right in this large bar from their last earnings. Maybe this is going to give us an idea of the range. The high is 784, the low 691, and I almost chuckle as in that's going to be your range, man. You know, you're going to get a possible move, 40, 50 bucks. We'll see when we open what kind of move the market's pricing in for options. Take a look at the daily on Meta. Got some selling at those highs. You know, you say, where's their strength in this equity? About 700 bucks. All right, you come back, you fill that gap from their last earnings, you build a base, you do it with some volume. You know, we may need to test that 700 area for Meta shares. You have Google with their numbers on Tuesday as well. Take a look at the weekly. Yeah, look at the volume dropping off in the last 5 weeks or so, right? We had these huge volume spikes, the April acceleration, some spikes here in June. You get the acceleration in July. You get that huge acceleration at the beginning of September. Some nice accelerations that July on their earnings. You back it up on the daily. But we haven't had any of that recently. The only volume spike we have out here is last Tuesday when you drove lower and then you drift higher on lighter volume. All right, we get Apple and Amazon on Thursday. Take a look at the volume. Decent volume, but not the spike you want to see when you push to those highs. You really want to see a ramp up in volume, and if anything, yeah, that was a nice acceleration a week ago. We got a high of 264.38 on Apple. You trade higher on 90 million shares. Apple coming into their numbers. And then you talk Amazon as well. We'll talk Microsoft. Yeah, Amazon's got some selling. Boy, they really missed it on their last earnings. Azure is going to be in focus. Now, remember, folks, they really missed the mark on Azure last earnings, right? Everybody else was crushing it. Excuse me, for AWS. Azure crushed it. AWS really missed the mark last earnings. That was the reason you dropped from 234 down to 211. You filled the gap, you got it back, and then you were back there. As recently as just 10 days ago, it's going to be a lot of pressure on their numbers when you're talking about cloud. All right? And speaking of Azure, Microsoft. I'll pull it up. Yeah, so Microsoft is Wednesday. So Meta and Google on Tuesday, Apple and Amazon on Thursday, Microsoft sandwiched in between on Wednesday. We've just been pushing the highs for better part of almost 3 months. You make that acceleration, not the better part, right? Their last earnings, you spiked to 555. We've just been consolidating. Take a look at the daily. You know, if you're looking for some support, that was just such a big week. Remember, options expiration in September, all those equities got all that volume on the close. So there's your level of support with a high of 519 and a low of 510. Microsoft trading at 523. Now, these companies, you jump over to what's going to be in focus. How about CapEx? Look at the ramp up, man. The 10-year ramp up with an acceleration that almost looks parabolic. All right, this looks like the beginning of a parabola. Right, you ramp up, you peak out, you make your top, and what happens on the right-hand side? Now, that number's not going to go down, folks. Okay, let's hope it doesn't, because that goes down, we'll get a problem. But boy, how about more than $100 billion this quarter between all of them? Talking about Amazon, Microsoft, Alphabet, Meta. Okay, Apple really not in the mix in the same degree here. But yeah, 100 billion between the four of them. We're going to find out this week alone. How about the earnings growth? This one's a little worrisome. Well, why is their earnings growth slowing? Because of these numbers right here, because they're going to spend $100 billion in 90 days. Folks, they're going to spend $100 billion in 90 days, these companies alone, right? This is the estimate. That would be the smallest since early 2023. So profits, okay? Yeah. How about the understatement of the year? Spending, however, far outstrips the revenue those companies are generating from AI. Doesn't mean it's a dot-com bubble like when AskJeeves.com was going for whatever it was going for back in those days. And if you don't remember AskJeeves.com, folks, look it up. That dot-com bubble, right? Those are the equities that really got to a level, okay? AskJeeves.com. Nah, use Google, folks, okay? Nonetheless, they got it out. They got it out to the public. You remember that one? I think it was Ask, right? Was that the symbol? Ask? Talk about marketing. If only they had SPACs back then, right? They didn't even have SPACs. All right, so look for those big CapEx numbers, of course, in focus. And yeah, Meta and Google on Tuesday, Microsoft on Wednesday, Apple and Amazon on Thursday. All right, folks, we're going to be coming back for the open. And we got markets. All of them. Every single one. Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, Russell. We're all opening at all-time highs, folks. Gold under pressure. Gold down $85 right now, down 2%. Silver down by 2.5% right now. Bitcoin trading higher by almost $4,500, and the 10-year yield, we got a Fed decision on Wednesday as well, just above 4%. We'll come right back, folks.
Investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got equities open, kicking off Monday trading, and we have markets at all-time highs right across the board. S&Ps, how about 60 points? Nice round number. We catch even a small bit on the open. We're up by 0.9%. NASDAQ 100 up by 1.3%. The Dow up by 0.6% right now, and the Russell up by 0.7%. We jump back to gold. Down by 2.3%. Gold's under pressure, folks, and it's just been a heck of a run. Listen, this is not doom and gloom, okay? This is a natural retracement in a bull market. That's how you got to look at it. Gold trades from 2,000 to 4,400, folks, in the period of about 18 months, okay? Call it 20 months. You want to see something wild, okay? And we're not talking about right now, prepare yourself for large pullbacks. The 382 pullback, folks, of the run we had that started last February. No, I started that too far back. Yeah, no, that's February. Yeah. $2,000, okay, would bring gold back to about $3,500, which would be the top of this consolidation we had earlier this year. That's just a 382 of the run we had that began last year, okay? You want to get a little bit more near term, we're approaching that level, which is about 4,000, and that's just from the run that we had that began 2 months ago. We're not even at the 382 of the run that began in the middle or late August, right? It's been a heck of a run. Watch the selling, because we got a lot of selling, folks, and that high that we made October 20th, you pull back on volume, and then it accelerates. Today, we're down $102, okay? If you went to bed Friday night saying, I survived the pullback in gold, I got nothing to worry about, then I'd get your spikes up on your back, because you do have something to worry about in the short term. It's been a heck of a run, and gold is under pressure right now. You jump over the dollar. I mean, this is not a dollar movement, folks. Okay, just like it wasn't a dollar movement on that trade higher, it's not a dollar movement right now. This is a gold retracement. Okay, speaking of tech stocks, you jump over to Tesla, TSLA, up 2.1%. You have the chairman of the board of Tesla out there touting that you either pay Elon his $1 trillion or they risk losing it. Well, that's the gambit he's making. Now, what's so remarkable here is, okay, beware the messenger. I'm like, okay, who's this board full of again, and who are their allegiances to? This board doesn't seem like they have the allegiance to the investors, folks. It doesn't, okay? This woman in particular. Now, what's so remarkable is, if you recall, Elon's comments about taking Tesla private at $420, those took place, I want to say 2017 or 2018. Let's see. Somebody help me out, okay? What's remarkable is that when that was going on, okay, 2018, so he settled with the SEC. 2018, he settled, taking Tesla private at $420. I think that's a split from now, right? That's not the $420 we're talking about that Tesla's basically at right now. In that time, okay, this is a quote from Elon Musk. Chairman is an honorific, non-executive role, which means it's not needed to run Tesla. We'll retire that title at Tesla in 3 years. Well, how much has she made over that period of time? She's taken out about $1 billion from the company. $1 billion. $1 billion. The chairman of the board. Now, I'm not saying that it's a title that doesn't deserve pay, and it should, because you got to deal with Elon of all things, right? But you better believe that you should question what's going on when she is making way more money than most chair people of boards. And we'll leave it at that as a very, very ease of statement, okay? If you think that chairmen of boards are making billions of dollars, that's not the case. They're making millions, okay? They're not making billions. She's making billions, and you better believe she's going to want that relationship to continue, okay? So be aware of that when you hear her talking about that, and go look it up, okay? She has just huge stock options, and $1 billion for what the CEO himself calls an honorific role that they should have gotten rid of by 2021. He said that in 2018. So her opinion as to that relationship existing, a bit beneficial in her role, to put it lightly. All right. Now, we have a Fed meeting coming up Wednesday. The market is all but certain that they'll be cutting by 25 basis points. And we got the 5 finalists. Yeah. So the Treasury Secretary confirming we got 5 people. Now, three appointees on the 7-member Board of Governors, Waller and Bowman, as well as Stephen Moran, who are filling an unexpired term, is what he has already. Okay. And the 5 he's looking at are Governors Waller, Bowman, National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett, former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh, and then BlackRock executive Rick Reeder. Those are the 5. Can't wait to see when he nominates them, what the market think, what they start putting out for their messaging. His term doesn't end in terms of Powell's until May, but you're going to get that nomination. And usually you get that nomination a few months ahead of time to allow for the transition. There could be the case made that if the president wants to up the timeline of when the market may begin to interpret what the next Fed chair is going to do come May, one way to do that is to instill a nomination for the next Fed chair ahead of schedule, not taking Powell out, but lengthening the lame duck nature of the finishing of his term, right? All right, so we get fed 5 names. And yeah, let's pull up the odds, but they're basically baked in at this point, folks. You better believe it. What are we looking at? 96.7% chance that they're going to cut for the meeting on Wednesday. You go out to the December 10th meeting, and about a 95.8% chance that we get 2 cuts by then. Things get a lot more interesting when you start going out to January. 49% chance that we stay at that 2 cuts that we get by December, a 48.8% chance you get 1 more cut by January. You go out to March, 49% chance we get 3 cuts over the next 4 meetings. You go out to April, still only a 43% chance we get 3 cuts. Right? Things stall when you get into January, March, April. You want to see lower rates? These probabilities need to change. The market knows we're cutting on Wednesday. The market knows we're cutting December 10th. But what happens after that? Well, the other thing we're going to talk about, folks, is 3% inflation. Because the Wall Street Journal, yeah, they're saying 3%. It's the new 2%. I think it is. They're running it hot. Markets are hot. We'll come right back, folks.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. Tesla up by 2.5%. Markets in the green. We check in on some of the larger equities with their numbers this week. Meta up by 1.7%. Google, we're up by almost 2%. That's an all-time high for Google shares. Meta and Google on Tuesday. You got Microsoft on Wednesday, giving back some of the gains, but up by 1.1% right now. And then Apple and Amazon. Apple up by 1%. How's that for a high? 266.66. And you got Amazon up by 1.3%. Back up Amazon. Get the high out there from earlier in the year. We almost touched that area. And yeah, this is going to be an important earnings for Amazon, folks. AWS, keep your eye on that one, man. They underperformed all their competitors by a large margin last go around. Oracle, negative 0.7%. We jump around to some of those other cloud equities. CoreWeave up by 3.1. Check out the chip stocks. AVGO, Broadcom up by 1.7. AMD shares up by 0.8%. This thing, my goodness, right? Look at Intel having a run up another 4.5%. Intel at $40. Yeah, those USA rare earth, those rare earths down 11.2%. Look at this. You're right back to where you were on the beginning of the SPAC mania on this thing, up to $20. All right, jumping back to Tesla, okay? Because you have the chairman of the board who never makes a peep about anything, folks. And it's like you dig into it. You know, a board is supposed to be independent, okay? And these are all public companies. And that's the thing. You're going to the public for money, right? The board's supposed to be an independent board. The chair especially should be independent. You can't be independent, folks, if your entire wealth becoming a billionaire came from being the chair of the board. Do you see how that's the reverse situation that runs? She was appointed in 2018 to be the chair. I think she stepped into that role in like 2014. Fairly unknown, right? Fairly unknown. Well, what was happening when the run was on this year, right? She was cashing in, man. Now she's saying that the future's bright if Elon stays, but she already sold hundreds of millions of dollars. The sale of Tesla stock, $530 million she has cashed in alone. Okay, far more than her peers have made at the most valuable U.S. companies during that time. And she is the honorary chair of Tesla that Elon runs, right? Now, you know, it's important to realize that, right? Does anybody know who this person is? Does anybody? To be the chair of a company like that, she is beholden to Elon, and as you would be if somebody chose you and made you a billionaire, okay? Profits from the stock sales, she cashed in on the first run, and she's cashing in even better on the second run, okay? And yeah, doesn't exactly sound like an endorsement for the future. And what's remarkable about this is, like they all say, she made a plan, okay? She had a plan, right? She put in place a sale, an arranged trading plan, Now watch this, okay? Denham filed that plan last July on the day that Musk endorsed Trump. You gotta love it, man, right? You know the run-up. So look at July 25th. Let's find the day. Is that the day? That's going to be the day. Quite a run-up. You come into the election, of course, and you get the acceleration. Now, the thing that nobody ever talks about on these plans is you can always cancel the plan, right? You put the plan in place, and you just cancel the plan if you don't want to do it for whatever reasons. Well, she didn't want to cancel it because the stock ran, of course. You put that in play in July, election, the run-up, and she sold hundreds of millions of dollars, and she's a billionaire over that time. So, I'd be careful of that one, folks. And now she's out there defending that $1 trillion pay package. And the argument is nobody gets hurt if we all make money, right? That's the argument. It's just an option on an equity. Nobody gets hurt if we all make money. But, folks, if that's the case, the public is going to get demolished in the long run. If you can make cases that nobody gets hurt because the company makes money, anytime you have good companies, employees are going to take all that money that should be made in the public for publicly traded companies. You can make the case that Elon deserves a $1 trillion pay package because the company is going to be worth, what, 7 or 8 trillion. Well, if you can make that case, why not 1.5 trillion? Why not 1.8? Why not 2 trillion? Right? It's supposed to be that he can deliver that value beyond anybody else. And if you can make the argument with anybody, it's the argument with Elon. But my biggest take is that the chair of the board is being represented as a third-party, unbiased individual. And if you look into it, Elon put somebody in that role that he probably thought that would be the least able to control him as possible. He called the title honorary, said it would be gone within 3 years of that 2018 decision, whatever that meant, probably just a lot of bravado. And now that person he put in has been paid $1 billion, and he now has their endorsement for them to pay him $1 trillion. Thinking a lot of times people would be upset at the financial arrangement of that situation if the person running the company didn't align with your views. And that's where you really want to try and focus because, yeah, we've spent enough time, but you don't normally just come out of the woodwork and become a billionaire, becoming a chair of a company like Tesla, and then get to operate under the assumption that you are a third-party independent director. That's the important part of that. You make the decision beyond that, and maybe you think Elon's worth it, okay? Because, yeah, he disappears from that company, and bye-bye to that stock price, okay? So that's the hook in there, for sure. But she is not an independent director, folks. All right. All right, we talked about the Fed. We talked about big tech earnings. We talked about the CME in terms of the Fed fund futures. Let's see where I got. Yeah, we got a couple articles. So renters, this one from the Journal. They have the upper hand. This one out this weekend. And they're probably going to keep it as the way they put it out there. And boy, it is a tough time to get into a first home, folks. And that's where you're going to see the pressure on the rates. All right, we'll talk about this, and we're going to talk a little bit about AI when we get back as well. How about this company? Now valued at $10 billion. It was founded in February of 2023, and just in February of this year, it was 1/5 that value. We'll come right back, folks.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got the market basically chopping around right where we kicked things off. S&P's up near 60 points right now, 68.85. My goodness. NASDAQ 100 up 333 points, up 1.3% right now, trading at 25,840. The Dow up about 0.5%, and you got the Russell up by 1% right now. And yeah, so you jump around. You jump around to these equities, as I mentioned. So we got Meta, and boy, look at this acceleration, man. Right on the open. Meta shares up by more than 2.1%. They're out with their numbers Tuesday. Google shares 2.3%. Microsoft on Wednesday up by 1.3%. You get Amazon up by 1.6% on Thursday, and Apple up by 1.4%. All of those companies combined. My goodness, the market cap. Tesla with a bid up by 2.2% right now. The market liking probably that. You got the chairman of the board out there making sure that they're trying to keep Elon. And you jump over to gold off by 2.5% off $103, 4,034. As I've said, folks, if you're in some of these equities, okay, put a line in the sand. Because no matter where you are, we've had a heck of a run. And the last thing you want to do is let these types of profits disappear. You got Agnico Eagle off by 2.9. You jump over the XAU, down 3.1% right now. The HUI down by 3.3% right now. Let's see, silver off by 3.4%. Platinum down by 1%. All right, folks, market's on fire. Stay tuned. We got our man Basil Chapman. He's coming up next with the Tiger Technicians Hour. Steve Rhodes at 11 o'clock with the Trader's Edge. Fast Market at 12. Larry Pesavento coming up at 1 o'clock. And we'll see you at 3 o'clock for the Tom O'Brien Show, folks. Thanks so much for kicking your Monday off right here. And stay tuned. We got our man Basil Chapman coming up live right now. Have a great one, folks.